Hey guys, welcome back to Baby Back Maniac. This is my part 2 of my review of the Weber SmokeFire pellet grill. Weber came out with their first pellet grill this month. It's actually available now. I'll have links in the description box below if you want to check that out. I got a chance to go see it at their headquarters for their launch event. I did a whole series of videos already on this. I'll put a link to those there, but one of them was my extended review. It's about 18 minutes of all the things that I liked and didn't like about it, and I encourage you to go watch that. This is definitely a companion video to that. It's all the follow-up questions that I got, particularly the ones that were asked more than once. I put a list together and I'm just going to go through them one by one. I'm going to try to do this faster. I've filmed this at least twice now, and every time I get to where I'm talking too much, so I'm going to try to go fast with this. The most common question that I got was basically how do pellet grills work. A lot of people asked if they're electrical or if they require propane or what. Pellet grills are all the heat is created by wood. As the name implies, they're little wood pellets, and there's an auger and a motor that pumps those pellets into a fire pot, which is fed by a fan to create kind of a convection inside the cooker. And so from your standpoint, what it looks like is you walk up and you press, you dial in the temperature, you walk away, and the cooker pretty much takes care of all of it. So to answer that question there, it's 100% wood burning fire, but it is controlled by an electrical motor, if that makes sense. So on the only heat that's produced by the pellet grill is actually from the glow rod, or what we use to start the fire. And then after that, once the fire is lit, that glow rod goes out and it's 100% wood burning. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I should have started there. I'm sorry I jumped right over that. Now, in this case, the next question is usually, what about rain? What happens when it rains? There were a lot of folks in our group that were from Florida. They had the exact same question. Pellet grills, they've kind of figured this out. I mean, they were born in Oregon, which is, you know, Pacific Northwest is like kind of known for rain. And so typically water getting into the cookers is not a huge problem. I mean, it can happen, but usually it's because something went wrong, not because of like problems with, you know, that. But as far as the Weber cooker, they're working currently. There's no safety standards as far as working, like as far as how pellet grills are made. There's no standard set, so Weber's working with the companies that certify that to create a set of standards, and one of them happens to deal directly with rain. So the Weber cooker has been tested and proven to stand up to being able to be used in 4 hours of simulated rainstorm. So they're the only cooker that has been through that type of training, that's not right. I want to say certification, but the certifications they're still in development. Pre-certification is probably a better way of putting it. But that's the only cooker that has been through that pre-certification process of surviving a certified rainstorm. Now, what does that mean? At this point, it doesn't mean anything because it's not a certification, but it does mean that they've done their homework, and that, you know, you shouldn't have any issue with water getting into, you know, the computer or causing any problems like that. So that's good. Another question I got a lot was as far as the smoke flavor, why do we focus so much on grilling? Why didn't we do more low and slow? Well, the reason for that is because Weber, with this design of this cooker, pellet grills, what Weber figured out was all the pellet grills that they tested could do good low and slow. What not all of them were good at was doing high heat grilling, like up to 600 degrees, without the need of removing a heat deflector or adding some sort of a sear grate. And so that was their goal, was to simulate the experience a Weber customer from a gas grill would have, make it very similar to what they experience on this new pellet grill. So that was what they were excited about, and so that's what they focused on mostly, because again, any pellet grill can do low and slow. That was what they determined, so it wouldn't be news to do that. So that's what we focused on. That's what, and the other part of it was we weren't at Weber very long. We were only at their we were only at their corporate headquarters for about 4 hours. I was there a little bit longer because my flight was delayed, but we spent 3 of those hours in a conference room just hearing, watching presentations about how the grill was made and a lot of the research that went into it and testing and stuff like that. And so really our hands-on time was about an hour. We were basically grilling our lunch. So we grilled steak and fish and I think chicken. I'm going to say chicken, yeah. And shrimp, and then we ate it. So that was just all we had time for. We didn't have time to cook brisket. Now I did have brisket while I was there, and that's in one of the videos. I'll link to that here. And it tasted great. A lot of folks have asked me if it tasted like it came off a stick burner, and I would say no. I mean, it was really good though. I think it was good. I mean, I think if you want a stick burner, you should get a stick burner. That said, the temperature range of this cooker is from 200 to 600 degrees. I don't remember if I said this earlier, but it is a PID controller, which means it's got an algorithm that allows it to learn the cooking environment. It actually gets smarter as the cook goes along, for lack of a better explanation. So it gets better at maintaining the temps that whatever your desire the temps to be, it does that without fluctuating as it learns the actual individual circumstances of each cook. It also has a variable speed motor and a variable speed fan, so it's even better at it than a lot of other cookers are, just from that standpoint. Now there's other cookers that have those features, but it's definitely better to have than not have, and that's the case here. But back to the smoke, there's a smoke setting that's coming, which is going to be designed to just put extra smoke flavor on the meat. And I don't know if that'll taste like it came off a stick burner, but it certainly should add more smoke flavor if that's what you're looking for. Also to the some of the questions about why doesn't it go lower than that, because a lot of people try to make jerky and stuff like that. That will effectively have lower temperatures than when it's not in smoke setting. So it'll probably vacillate between 165 to 195. So that's one thing, but it's not a temperature that you dial in, and the cooker will try to maintain. It's just a part of that smoke setting is for those temps to go up. What am I doing here? We're good to go up and down and cycle. That's just part of how those smoke settings work. And so a lot of other cookers have that too, but this will, that's the reason why. That's how you'll be able to get more smoke flavor out of this pellet grill. That and the other stuff that I talked about in the other video, if you want to go check that out. What else? So PID, will it be hard to clean? That was another question I got. Will it be hard to clean? I actually don't think it's going to be that hard to clean. And the reason is there's not that much in there to clean. So, and I understand where this question is coming from, because I had the same question. Those flavorizer bars, if you cook like a greasy brisket or pork butt. Now, the first thing you can do is you can just put a drip pan underneath it. There's room between those flavorizer bars and the top grate, or the cooking grate, for a drip pan, and that kind of keeps all the grease out of the cooker to begin with. But and that's what I used to do with my other pellet grill, that because I didn't like cleaning it. But the way this cooker is designed is there's not a lot of stuff to clean. Like when the grease falls through. Or when you cook something greasy, the grease is going to fall all the way down to the bottom, because the only thing between that and the bottom for it to hit is the flavorizer bars, and they're kind of shaped like a teepee, so a lot of that's going to just roll right off, and the grease will land in the bottom of the cooker, which again is going to be tapered towards the grease traps, which are you can't see my hands, but they're tapered, and then it's going to go. The grease is going to drop in the grease catch below the cooker. I mean, they said, I think they kind of had in mind that a lot of people are just not going to. Officially, you're supposed to clean that cooker every 20 hours of use, and they'll have a little tool for you to do that with. But it should just be moving the flavorizer bars out of the way, and then just kind of scraping down the little, what do they call it? The channel for the grease. But again, there's just nothing. There's nothing but the bottom of the cooker for the grease to stick to, there's no flat surfaces except the bottom of the cooker, which is not very much of it, and it's going to be really easy to clean with that tool. So compared to a typical pellet grill with a big grease pan, this is going to be less to clean than that, and you'll have the grease below the fire pot. So if you're gonna if you're going to crank up any cooker to 600 degrees, you want that grease to be below the fire pot, not hovering above it in a grease pan. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they say that they tested it thoroughly. I believe them. I'm going to test it myself. But again, if when push comes to shove, I'll probably use a drip pan regardless. So I'm not all that concerned about it. Now, I did get a lot of pushback from, not a lot, but some pushback from people asking why I would recommend a cooker that hasn't been tested. Let me clarify. If you're not someone who is comfortable trying something new that hasn't been tested, this shouldn't be any different. You know, yeah, don't pre-order anything until you see real life reviews. That's just a good way to do life. Like, you know, the thing is there's a difference between not being tested and not being on the market yet. Like Weber put a lot of testing into this cooker. They spent more time on this than I think any other company could, just because they have the resources to do that. They have the teams and they have the money and they have the time to do this right. So for me, after seeing kind of where all that happened and how much work that went into it, I feel personally comfortable for me purchasing this. And if Weber doesn't send me a cooker, I'll pre-order my own. This is what I'm looking for in a cooker. But that doesn't mean that I'm encouraging everyone else to do that. I'm just saying I feel personally convinced that this is going to work. If not, I'll be disappointed, and you know, and then I'll call Weber and you and I will have conversations about this. But I really feel like they did their homework. So that's the reason why I am comfortable with it. If you're not, don't buy it. Also, if you're happy with your other cooker, don't buy it. Like I think for some reason people I felt like I was attacking their cookers, and that's not the case at all. I personally, my opinion is this cooker existing makes life better for all of us. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, if you have another brand of cooker that you love, and the fact that Weber made another good cooker it's only going to push your favorite cooker company to raise their game even more. So everybody wins. It's the whole rising tide raises all ships type thing. So yeah. So in case there was some confusion about what I meant or what I was saying, let me be clear. If you love your cooker, I think you should keep it and love it, and you know, that's great. And if you aren't a pre-orderer, don't pre-order. I mean, I don't know. I thought that was obvious, but apparently by some of the comments that I got, it wasn't. So just want to make that clear. Yeah. So probably the next video I do on this, I'll be cooking on it. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. A lot of this stuff that's happened to me has happened because of you, and I appreciate that. So love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.